Hello to everyone. Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to have a discussion with you all. This is actually going to be a reading in regards to your gifts. Okay, so this is for those of you who have gifts that you are currently nurturing and working on. You know what your gifts are, you know what you're passionate about, and you're currently putting forth that effort to build these gifts, but you might find that you're at a standstill in certain areas, or you might be questioning if you're, you know, if there's anything else that you need to be doing in order for your gifts to actually work, and to be beneficial to yourself and for those who are benefiting from your gift as well. So I'm going to be asking some questions to see what advice I can give you in regards to your gifts. And then for those of you, if you haven't been able to tap into what your gifts are and you're curious to know why you have the blockages, where the blockages might be, then let me know down below, and I'll be sure to make a separate video for those of you who don't quite know what your gifts are. So this is for those of you who do know where your gifts lie, but you just feel that you need some help in terms of being able to continue to move forward and to work at your strongest potential. And if this message happens to resonate with you all, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I've had a few people ask me or tell me that they haven't been seeing my videos, so be sure to press the notification bell if you want to be able to keep up with those with my videos as I continue to post them moving forward. And also, I want to give a shout out to I believe his name is Start Christ, for your donation to my channel. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate you. And so let's go ahead and get started, y'all. So you have a gift. Let's see how you can build it and make it stronger, okay? So let's see what's actually working for you right now concerning your gift. What is working for you? What's working for you right now? Okay. So this is an interesting combination. I guess it really just all depends on what your gift is, but I guess this can work with you across the board. But these two cards, you have schizophrenia and consciousness. Now I know you're like, okay, what does this have to do with my gift? But what I'm seeing with these two cards is someone that is highly awakened, someone that is seeing things from a very high perspective. So regardless of what your gift is, it might not necessarily be in a spiritual gift. It can be something that is along the lines of dancing or singing or poetry or whatever the case may be. But what's working for you is that the wisdom that you have gained, you're actually putting it into your gift some type of way, some sort of way. You're actually putting that wisdom and this higher level of consciousness into your gift. And I also see this in terms of this schizophrenia card. I see this as taking risk, okay? Rising above your situation to see it from a higher perspective, but also taking risk at the same time. So doing something risky in your gift, and being fearless because you see it from that higher perspective. You are awakened. You have that higher level of consciousness. So for some of you, if this is a spiritual gift, then this is you not placing limits on yourself in terms of what you're capable of, okay? And really listening to your intuition and your higher consciousness in order to build on that gift. Let's pull another one for what's working for you right now. Going with the flow. So not being too overly controlling in terms of how the gift is growing, okay? But you're just kind of going with the flow of things. And I also see the water as being, dealing with emotions. So some of you might be putting your passion, your emotions into your gift, putting your heart into your gift, okay? So let's just say, for example, if you're a poet, you may find that not only are you incorporating your higher level of consciousness, that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that you've been able to unlock in your awakening, but you're also taking risk in terms of how you're presenting your poetry to the world, doing something very different and unexpected. And then you're also putting in your emotions. So you might talk about some things that brought up a lot of emotions for you in your past, but in speaking on it, it was actually something that was very healing to you. So you're putting your emotions into it with the intention that it will be also healing for someone else. So that's just an example of like poetry. If you're a dancer, you can do the same thing, and I'm not talking about dropping it like it's hot on the pole now. I'm talking about like a dancer that's more of the arts, where you can put your emotions into your body movements and the way that your passion into it, but coming from the core, coming from your heart, and not just being robotic in your movement. And so it's almost like as a dancer, you can really tell a story through your awakening. Okay. It really just all depends on which angle you look at it from, but you can utilize these things in all facets, in terms of your gifts. So I feel like what's working for you is you're going with the flow, you are taking risk, and you're implementing your wisdom into this thing. At the bottom of the deck here, we have adventure. So I feel like you're actually stepping into that imagination, that childlike imagination that's allowing you to be more creative. Okay, because especially when you are healed, that's very important in terms of building the strongest potential in your gifts, because a healed person is one that can tap into that inner child and really tap into that imagination so that you can add a lot of color and life and adventure to your gifts. Okay, and so I feel like you're taking risk. Okay, and you're feeling excited and adventurous about the risk that you're taking, like that child that is fearless. So I also see that as being fearless. You're fearless about bringing your gifts into the world and doing it. I feel like some of you are doing something different. Whatever it is you're doing is not it's not the cookie cutter expectation that most people might do. You're doing something that's very outside of the box. Okay. And I feel like you're going with the flow. So that's working for you. So let's see what's not working for you right now in terms of your gifts, or what's working against you in terms of building your gifts right now. Because you want to know it, it's a polarity to everything. So you want to know both, and you want to try to bring some balance to that. So what's not working for you in terms of building on your gifts? Okay. So we have guidance coming out in the reverse. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have creativity. So with these two cards, I feel like, okay, this guidance card is all about angelic guidance, okay? Allowing your spiritual team to guide you in the direction that your gifts are supposed to be taking you. So some of you may be kind of resistant to the guidance of your spiritual team, or you might not have necessarily connected with your spiritual team in order for them to be able to assist you in showing you, okay, you have this gift, but what is it now supposed to be used for, so that it can actually, so that you can see the benefits of what this gift is to do for, yourself and for humanity. Some of y'all might be resisting the guidance, or you have not yet made that connection. And then the number 3 also deals with your creative energy. Okay, there's the number 3 right there. So the number 3 dealing with your creative energy and allowing your spiritual team to guide you and to show you where this gift is taking you. That's very important for you right now. So resisting that or not making that connection is actually working against you in terms of building up your creativity, okay? Because that's what's coming out right behind that. So you want to be able to function at the highest potential, okay? At the optimal, at the highest potential of your gift, okay? And so with creativity being here, with guidance coming out in the reverse, it's almost like you're doing it alone. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't have people in the flesh that are actually working alongside you, but you have to have balance. Balance is important when it comes to everything that you do in life, because we're spirits having a human experience. And so if you separate yourself from the spiritual aspect of what you are here to do, then you become overly focused in on just the physical aspect of it, the material gains that you might be able to get from it, or how many people you'll be able to attract to you from doing it, versus being completely authentic and transparent in presenting your gift and doing it from a space of the spiritual aspect and the physical aspect. So I just feel like this is saying that there needs to be some sort of balance here. Now, I know you might say, okay, well, if you're making purses, if your gift is to make purses for a living, then how does the spiritual aspect have anything to do with you creating a handbag? But it does, because there's millions of different varieties of handbags out here. And yours could very well be a very good handbag, okay? Very well made, quality and everything. But it's the energy that you put into creating the handbag that is actually going to attract to you people that will see the value in your handbag versus the person down the street, okay? And so this is where the spiritual nature of things come in at. You can't shut off one aspect of it, because if you do, you might very well find some success, but it's only going to be for a time, because then you're going to hit that ceiling and it's going to be like, okay, this is not, it's something will come along to awaken you to the fact that you're missing a large part of the puzzle here. And that will be the spiritual aspect of what you are to put into your gift versus just doing something in order to create material abundance or to create a name, or, just focusing in on the material aspect of it. You need balance in everything. So spirituality and practicality have to be balanced. So what's working against you right now is that you're needing to create a connection with your spiritual team, so, and also be open to allowing them to guide you. Don't resist it. Okay. So if they're guiding you and they're saying, okay, well, your poetry might be too much in the carnal side of things. Okay. We're needing you to use this level of consciousness that you have gained. You have all of this wisdom. Use this, implement this some kind of way into your poetry so that it is beneficial to not just yourself, but to humanity and everyone that listens. So let's see. I'm going to pull another card. Okay. Morality. This is what's working against you. Your morals. Okay. It's keeping you very rigid. What's coming out at the bottom of the deck with this is guilt. Your morals is keeping you very rigid and is keeping you from implementing certain wisdom that you have gained into your gift. I feel like a lot of you have gifts that are more on a spiritual side of things, but even, outside of that, like I said, this will be in alignment with anything that you do. Resisting the spiritual guidance of your spiritual team is blocking and is stagnating your creative potential. Then on top of that, being too rigid in your moral belief system is causing you to, it's not allowing you to be, because this is you being rigid in your moral belief system. This is you when you are just open in your creativity, freely flowing. There's another number 3 right there. I told you 3 stands for creativity, with your angelic guidance there to show you where this is taking you and to help you to build your fullest potential. You see all of this color here, okay? There's all of this color, there's all of this life, there's all of this light in these pictures. But when you are in this morality, very rigid, and just doing things by the book, doing things by the expectations of those around you, not willing to implement that wisdom because you feel that people might think you crazy if you start speaking on certain subjects, or if you start enlightening people on those things that you know. What's happening is it's causing you to feel guilty. You're starting to feel guilty because you know that, like I said, I'm just going to use the example of being a poet. if you are a poet and your poetry is more centered around sex, right? And while it has worked for you to a degree, you've been able to attract an audience to some degree. You're growing. You've been growing and expanding in your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but you're still stuck in doing the same thing because there's some part of you that might be apprehensive about bringing your consciousness, your awakened mind, and implementing it into your poetry. Even though you want to, there's a large part of you that wants to, but your morality and the expectations of others, and because you've been putting out a certain type of energy and attracting a certain type of crowd, you feel like you have to stay stuck in creating that type of art with that type of those specific types of subjects. You're afraid of going too high because maybe some part of you thinks that people won't be able to connect, or that somehow you'll lose your audience. But you might very well lose some, but then there'll be others that you actually end up awakening, okay? And that is where you'll be planting those seeds. That is where you begin to plant the seeds towards the harvest that you reap on the other side of that, is when you start doing things that's beneficial to others through your gifts. So it's almost like you're being called to be unselfish with your wisdom, depending on what your gift is. If you're an artist and you're creating a certain type of art, and you might just be more centered around creating landscapes or, the pictures of certain cities, however you do that, you might be called to implement your higher level of consciousness through, okay, what do you really see? What do your spiritual eyes see? What is the perspective of, this creation? What is your spiritual eyes seeing? And you putting that on the canvas board versus the cookie cutter expectations, or the same thing that you have been doing. You're being called to do something different. If I can just say that, you're being called to do something different and to step outside of the boundaries. You're being called to be adventurous, to bring some color and some more life into it, but to do it in a way where you're completely transparent. You're completely authentic about the growth that you have been able to obtain over time, and to release, because it without doing it, you're feeling guilty. Some part of what you're doing is leaving you feeling guilty because you're leaving out something, a very important piece to your growth, to the growth of your gift, and to the expansion of the number of people that it's able to reach. So coming out of conditioning when it comes to morality, coming out of fear when it comes to other people's opinions of whether or not they think you crazy for being so open, so transparent, and so different, and working alongside your spiritual team, opening up the lines of communication is what's going to work for you, because it's not what's working against you is the fact that you have not been doing that, and that you've been too rigid in your morality, and it's causing guilt here. So let me see. The next question that I have is, what can you add here? So what can you add to your gifts that's going to be beneficial? What can you add? Okay, so we have here innocence. So when I see this card, this is that energy of seeing things from a completely different perspective. You might be up in age, you might not necessarily be up in age, but no matter what your age is, you've gained a certain amount of wisdom, but yet you still see things from a new set of eyes, almost as if you're discovering it for the first time. Maybe that's what you're needing to add to your gifts. An element of surprise to those people who are receiving your gift, or who are benefiting from your gift. Some sort of element of surprise, something that is going to allow them to discover something through your gifts. Because this man is discovering this cricket. It's like he's looking at it for the first time, even though he's up in age, and he's probably seen crickets 1,000,001 times. this particular cricket, he's able to find some amusement in looking at it because he's discovering something about it. So in his innocence, there is discovery there in innocence. That's the same thing almost like here. This child is discovering something new and it's an adventure. So you're being called to bring some color and some light and some life into your gift. Because in this energy being too rigid, there is no life here. This person looks like they're dead, okay? And so if your gift is, I'm going to just use the poet for, as the example. If your gift is to do poetry, and you've been doing this for a number of years, and you've been writing the spoken word, but everything that you speak is more along the sides of keeping people in their lower nature, then it's like you're keeping them asleep. You're keeping them in a, like the dry bones, like the dead bones, okay? You're keeping them in that energy versus using your gift to bring life back in to the people that benefit from it, bringing life into them, because this is what humanity is craving, okay? And so depending on the platform, depending on the gift, like I said, it doesn't matter how you do it. You can bring life into a handbag, okay? You can somehow bring your consciousness and your awakening into a handbag. You have to, you don't put any limits on your creative ability, okay? But it's all in the energy that you project as you are creating these things. And so if in your energy as a poet, when you're writing things and, okay, you're good at those things that keep people, feeling hot and heavy and, sweaty, on a sexual level, or you're good at writing poetry that's along the lines of, maybe killing folks, okay? But in your consciousness, you've awakened, okay, and you see things from a higher level of a higher perspective. You've awakened now. Your intuition is on point, but you're tucking that away because you're afraid that people might think that you're crazy or that you're stepping too far outside the box or that they won't understand you or that they won't continue to enjoy your gift. And so that's where that morality comes in, is keeping you rigid. But what you're putting into your gift is actually is making you feel guilty because that's no longer you. So I feel like as you continue to expand, as you continue to grow, your gift should be a direct reflection of your personal growth. And if it's in opposition to that, then you're going to see that there's going to be a stagnation in the physical in terms of how far your gift is able to go, in terms of how far it's going to reach, how many people it's going to reach, how many people are going to be drawn to it, and how it's going to be beneficial to others. There's going to be some sort of stagnation or standstill until you get the message of going with the guidance, okay? Because you are being divinely guided in terms of your gifts, and this will awaken your creativity where it's infinitely available to you. Like, you're not going to never feel as if there's a writer's block or a standstill in terms of how you're able to craft that gift, because you're just going to be free flowing in it, okay? And you're not going to be, because guilt will stagnate your creative gifts, like, strongly. It will stagnate your creative gifts. And not only that, but the energy that is in that poetry people will feel that, okay? They might not be able to, hear it in your verses, but they will feel it energetically. Just like a person will also feel the passion and the excitement and the adventure that you are putting into your poetry as well. And they might say, wow, it wasn't necessarily what you said, it was what I felt when you said it. So this is what's working against you, okay? Now, so what can you add? Let me see, what can you add? You have here aloneness. Okay, aloneness, and at the bottom of the deck we have harmony. So aloneness, some of you are called to to actually work on this gift and to nurture this gift absent a lot of other energies surrounding you. This is what's going to allow you to function at your optimum, at your highest potential. Doing this alone, because you see this child is alone in in adventure here. Aloneness comes out here. you know I just, this is what's going to bring some balance in, because if you have certain energies around you that's influencing you to take a certain direction, so you got people in the flesh that's giving you directives to go this way because they're saying, well, this is what people like, this is what people want to hear from you, because this is what you've been pumping out, and based on that poem that you did 5 years ago, you was able to get a certain number of people to flock to you, so you need to be more centered around that. Or this is what this particular person that has been able to blow up to have over 1 million has been doing, and so you need to be along the lines of that, because that's what the people want. But just know that humanity is shifting, things are changing, people are changing, and so are you. And so as you change and as you shift and as humanity changes and shifts, you need to be going with the flow. Okay, but when you're resistant to the flow of that, and you're stuck in morality, you're stuck in what other people's expectations are of you and certain conditioning, then you stagnate. You strongly stagnate your growth. So you may be called to release certain people from being in your presence as you continue to nurture your gift. Most of the time, that's how it works. The most successful people are the ones that have had to go into hermit mode and to nurture it, with, absent a lot of other influence, especially if that influence that's around you, they're not on the same page. They don't have the same level of consciousness that you have. They have not awakened to many things, but you have. But yet you're taking advice from the same people who are not able to expand. They can't see life from a higher perspective. And so aloneness would be you and you alone taking this path and nurturing that gift. Just like that butterfly that goes into the cocoon. That butterfly cannot transform unless it goes into the cocoon alone. So I feel like that's what you're being called to do, so that you don't have the wrong influence. And in that energy, you're not alone, but you end up welcoming in your spiritual team, who's really going to give you the real guidance, the true guidance, and the proper guidance that you need in order to really step into your creativity. Because right now, the guidance that you have is from people that are in the flesh that are not fully awakened. The guidance that you need is from those that are in the spiritual realm that can see this from a higher perspective, and that know why you have this gift, why you've been blessed with this gift, and where this gift has the potential to take you, as long as you don't resist the process, and as long as you are not worried about others' opinions, as you continue to bring something different to the world. And so, what can you remove? So I feel like we already spoke on that, but let me see. What can you remove that might be causing some blockages in terms of your spiritual gifts? So what you can remove, this card, look at this, y'all, okay? What you can remove that might be blocking you is the Fool came out in the reverse. The Fool in reverse would be somebody who's afraid to take the leap of faith to do something different. Someone who is afraid to start all over again. Someone who is afraid to pack light, so that means releasing yourself of all of that extra baggage, which could be those people, places, and things, and just jumping, doing something different. But as you're jumping, you're looking up. You're not looking down, you're looking up. So what can you remove that's causing some blockages in this gift that you're nurturing, or that you possess? Pretty much everything that's going to keep you from jumping and starting fresh, okay? And then you also have here clinging to the past. What you can remove is this box that you have over your face that's causing your vision to become obscured. You can't see how far your potential is, or how much you can expand in your gift, because you're so focused in on the past, okay? You're so focused in on the past, and with the number, okay, that's the number 5 down there. Yeah, that's all about change. You're being called to change a lot of things right now. What can you remove? Remove this box. And with that wine glass back there, if you have any codependencies whether it be on alcohol or certain substances, in order to where you feel like you have to use that in order to help you to bring your gift forward, that's also a blockage. I'm seeing that as well. That's also an obstacle for you. Because anytime you have an overactive sacral chakra, that's what addictions or pleasure seeking behaviors stem from, an overactive sacral chakra. And your sacral chakra is your creative energy. Okay, that chakra is around your genital region. You can create a baby with that energy, or you can create your gifts. You can nurture your gifts. And so if you have an overactive sacral chakra, then it largely suggests that you might have certain habits, pleasure seeking behavior. So if you use that as a form, because it's like an artist that might have to get really, really high in order to write their lyrics. In that time, it seems like you're flowing with it, but over time, if you've been doing it for an extended period of time, it will actually do more damage, because then it's going to cause you to feel like you're not really able to expand in your creative abilities. Okay. Drinking will definitely do the same thing. You have to have, a few glasses of Henny before you can write your poetry. Then your sacral chakra is overactive. Overactive. Okay. Allow it to calm down and get back balanced out. So that might not be the case for everybody. I'm just saying for those few who that might be the case for. But this is what you're seeing here. What do you need to remove? The fear of taking the leap of faith and taking this jump. Packing light and jumping alone. Okay, taking this adventure and going at it alone, free of all of that negative energy and negative thoughts. Okay, just jumping. And then the past. The past is also an obstacle and a blockage in terms of you nurturing that gift that you possess. So what you can remove, I'm going to take one more in terms of what you can remove. So I have two. Okay. So the two that came out is transformation in reverse, and then conditioning right behind that. So what you can remove, your resistance to the transformation. I was just telling you about the butterfly that goes into the cocoon. The caterpillar that goes into the cocoon that comes out as that butterfly. That's all about that transformative energy. So you're being called to go through this transformation. You have come into a higher level of consciousness. You are awakened. You see things from a higher perspective, but there is a fear of other people's opinions if you go and take this leap of faith to do something different. If you step outside of the moral confounds, that conditioning and other people's opinions and other people's expectations of you, and do something different. There's a fear of this transformation, because transformation is all about death and rebirth. So that means that you are dying to the old and stepping into the new version of yourself, but you're also, not only are you allowing yourself to transform, but you are allowing your gift and the way that you present it to the world to transform. So that can mean letting go of a lot of things. And I'm largely seeing that it's also dealing with conditioning. Those morals that you have been holding on to because of the conditioning of other people who want to keep you trapped and bound in certain parameters. Okay. They don't want you to step outside of the box, and so they keep you tied to them. They keep you close where they can watch you, and they want to make sure that everything that you produce and that you bring to forward to the world is it keeps them all comfortable. Okay, everybody's comfortable as long as you don't recognize the lion that you are, and how fierce and how passionate you are, and how fiery you are. It can remain comfortable in that, because they themselves do not possess the gift that you have, because you're not built the same. And so if you are, let's say you are a poet, and you have certain people around you that you clinging to, you've been accustomed to having them around you. Y'all do shows together. You bring a certain type of energy to your audience. And they're comfortable in that because they haven't awakened. They don't see things from the way that you see them. And so you now have to water down your gifts, almost like dumbing yourself down in order to fit in with the expectation of those people around you who don't have the same perspective. Okay, they can't see things. The sheep can't see life the way that the lion sees it, because the lion has a completely different makeup. The lion has a completely different perspective, okay? And so your fear could largely be because they're not going to be accepting of it, or it's not going to bring them that comfort. It's not going to keep them in that comfort zone anymore. And so when you step outside and you awaken to the lion or the lioness that you are, and you not only go through the transformation internally in terms of who you are, but you also allow it to transform the way that you present your gifts to the world, some people are going to be intimidated. Some people are going to feel left out in the cold. And you might be afraid that it's going to happen to you, but the exact opposite is going to happen for you, because what's going to happen for you is you're going to take the leap of faith and you're going to be able to start brand new. What's going to happen for you? Let's see. If you break free of the conditioning, let's just see what might happen for you in terms of your gifts. If you release the baggage, if you free yourself from the moral confounds that other people have placed on you, if you free yourself of people's energy that does not serve in you implementing your wisdom into your gifts, if you release these things, what will happen in terms of your growth? What will happen in terms of your gifts being presented to the world? What will happen? Okay. So if you free yourself, all right, now it makes sense. If you free yourself, this is you, okay, as the rebel, breaking yourself free from the chains that have kept you bound, taking that leap of faith and doing something different. This will allow you to release yourself from all of this, your mind being cranked up, okay? You got all of this energy, all of this, first of all of this wisdom that's stored up in your mind, and you don't even know what to do with it because you're not utilizing it in a way where you're implementing it into your gifts. And so it's causing you to feel like you just, it's just building up and you need an outlet. These chimneys is like that outlet. And so you becoming the rebel and breaking free of this energy. This card says stress, okay? This is those people around you that see you trying to juggle everything, okay? Trying to juggle everything, trying to do everything, trying to maintain this certain juggling act for the world. Meanwhile, they're there, amused by your stress. They're amused by you trying to do this, and being inauthentic to yourself, okay? Holding on to all of these things that you don't need and pretending that you can handle it, pretending that it's working for you with your gifts, but it's really not. They're just there ready to burst your bubble, and they're ready to watch you fall and to, collapse with all of these things that you should have released a long time ago. All of these thoughts, all of this wisdom that you should have been implementing into your gifts a long time ago, rather than just storing it up in there and, feeling like your head is getting ready to explode because you got all of this consciousness, you've awakened, you have all of this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but you're not doing anything with it. You're just storing it up. You're being called to be the rebel. What will happen? You're going to break those chains. You're going to free yourself. You're going to get passionate again with that fire right there, with that torch that he has. You're going to get passionate again, and that fire is going to propel you forward. Trust is here. So that's all about, releasing, surrendering to the process. So you're being called to do something different and to trust the process. What will happen? What will happen if you release all of these things and become the rebel? How is this going to affect your gift? Then you're going to be able to move into participating with like-minded people. So becoming the rebel, it doesn't mean that you have to go at it alone all the way through. It just means until you're able to build your gift up, until you're able to first build yourself up in a way where it's like, okay, I know that I'm shifting. I know that I'm changing. I know that my perspective of life is changing. And so I know that my gift should also be growing with me. and I need to be able to find a way to implement these changes into my gift, then you're going with the flow. You're not resisting. And you're making sure that your gift is also expanding with you. And that's going to cause for you to have expansions in other ways, in terms of your audience, in terms of those people that you're able to reach, in terms of the impact that it has on people, in terms of your financial abundance. Everything begins to expand when you go with the flow of the changes that are happening around you and the transformations that are necessary in order for you to step into your highest potential concerning your creativity. So participation, you will be moving towards people that will participate in creating this foundation with you, okay? This will be the result. You'll be able to close out old cycles and begin new cycles. The number 10 is all about completion, but it also breaks down to the number 1, which is all about new beginnings. And so you'll be able to add your light to the world, okay? And this is all about that expansion. You got the universe here, the world, and so that's that infinite energy, that expansion that's never ending. So that light that you bring is beneficial for all of humanity when you implement your higher consciousness into your gifts. So one more. Okay. Yeah, you might be in this energy of comparison. Comparing who you used to be to who you're becoming. Comparing, because you got past lives. This is all of those people from your past lives previous to this one, and your past, within this lifetime, who all have their opinion. And, you're there comparing, making comparisons, or they are making comparisons of who you were, and who you are becoming. And they're trying to keep you boxed in. That's what they want. They want to keep you boxed in and chained down to them, because they know that their time is expiring, okay? Because clinging to the past, you're going to awaken to the fact that clinging to these people have not been beneficial to you, because you haven't been able to see your way past this boxed in perspective that's keeping you from really flourishing and being successful when it comes to your gifts, okay? And so, yeah, this card right here says ripeness. That's planting those seeds that I was telling you about. Each time you put your wisdom or your love and your awakening into your gifts, however that looks for you, whether it's energetically while you are creating that handbag, or whether it is literally through your lyrics as a poet, then you are planting seeds so that every person that hears it is able to receive something from it. Energetically, spiritually, emotionally, some kind of way, you're planting seeds towards your gift and towards those who are able to benefit from your gift. And as a result, you end up reaping a harvest, okay? You end up reaping a harvest. So this is why it's so important to see things from both a spiritual and physical aspect, in terms of putting your gifts out there for the world, so that it's just important to see it from both aspects, because both aspects of yourself exist in a spiritual and a physical nature. And so you don't want to be too overly focused on the material part of what your gifts might bring, because then you miss the mark there. So let me see. Where are your gifts taking you right now? In the energy that you're in right now. Let's just say, you don't really make these changes. You don't follow your angelic guidance. You stay within the confounds of the conditioning, or people's expectations. Look at that. You stay within the confounds of the conditioning of other people's expectations. This is the fiery, the wands deals with the fire. This deals with that new creative venture, that passion, that spark, that excitement to do something new. This is in reverse next to the 9 of swords. I'm cutting the deck here. So if you don't take the leap of faith to, implement many of the things that I've spoken on, as well as those things that intuitively because your consciousness came out first. You're awakened. Those of you who are guided to this message are awakened, and you see things from a higher perspective. And so if you continue to ignore the vision, this new vision that you've been able to gather in your awakening, and you don't implement it into your gift, then it's going to continue to work against you. You're not going to feel like you have any real forward movement. But where is things taking you right now absent you making these changes. So you have the Queen of Cups in the reverse. And then the King of Swords in the reverse at the bottom of the deck. You're not able to put your love into those things that you're doing right now. Okay, this is not, Queen of Cups in reverse is you being detached emotionally. So it's like you're doing it because, okay, I know I'm good at writing this poetry surrounding sex, but you're not doing it because you love it. You're doing it because you know it gets a certain reaction from a certain group of people who are operating in a certain energy, which is low vibrational in comparison to where you are internally. You see things from a higher standpoint, from a higher vibrational scale, but you're not able to implement those things. You're not implementing it into your gift, and so you're very detached emotionally from those things that you are doing, and because of that, it's not beneficial to you, and it's not beneficial to anyone else that actually receives your gifts. It's just not. The King of Swords in reverse is all about being detached as well. Okay. And for some of you, if you are a writer, this could also be like writer's block. You might feel like your creativity in terms of, or if you are a speaker, a communicator, somebody that communicates, your gift is through communication, you might feel like your throat chakra is blocked or that you're not able to speak your truth openly. And so I feel like it's causing your heart chakra to become blocked to a large degree. Yeah, because you're holding on. You're not allowing something to die. Like I told you, transformation is all about death and rebirth. And so the transformation card came out in the reverse. And this is the same thing, just a different deck. Transformation. If you do not allow yourself to go through the transformation by letting those things die that's no longer serving you. You know, life is all about death and rebirth. And if we didn't have death, then we would not have renewal, okay, rebirth. And so this is why you have to go with the changes, go with the cycles of life. Resisting it is going to cause setbacks and standstill. So let me see what else. Where is this taking you? And then I'm going to pull again in terms of, you know, if you implement these things that I have brought to you and those things that you're intuitively being guided to do. But where's this currently taking you in terms of the energy that you're in right now concerning your gifts? Look at this, y'all. Where it's currently taking you concerning your gifts is the Six of Pentacles in the reverse. So that's not what you're putting into it. You're not receiving it back. So you might be putting all of this energy into writing these poems that, you know is going to elicit a certain amount of excitement or reaction, but you're not receiving back in return what you have placed into it, which is your gifts. You're not receiving back the value of what you actually possess, okay? You're not receiving it back in the same measure, but largely because you are diminishing the value of your gift when you do not implement every facet of yourself, spiritually and physically. When you have to withhold certain parts of who you are in order to appease a certain type of group of people or a certain mindset or a certain low vibrational frequency, because that's what the majority do, then you are devaluing your gift. And so as a result, you do not receive back what you know you are worth, but you have to put that that high vibrational energy into it in order to get back the high vibrational reward. So I just feel like it's not balanced. You feel like there's no real reciprocity. What you're putting into your gift, you're not receiving in return. And so the Five of Pentacles is here, feeling like you're left out in the cold, feeling like you're, just tired, weighed down, exhausted, maybe financially. You feel like you're not able to receive back what you deserve. And so also here with the Ace of Pentacles, this is that new opportunity that's being offered to you to start something new that's going to be lucrative, that's going to be able to grow. Okay, this is that seed that you plant that's actually going to create a solid foundation, but it's in reverse. So it's like you're missing the opportunity because you're too busy giving in a direction that's not giving back. So Consider if you're putting your gift out into the world from a low vibrational energy, then what you receive back is going to be of the same measure, low vibrational return. So it can bring you that energy of guilt, which is low vibrational. It can bring you back that energy of lack, low vibrational. It can bring you that energy back of, just anything. Be very conscious of what you're putting into your gift. Now let me just pull again. I'm going to look into, this is the last question. If you allow yourself to go through the transformation, and you allow yourself to, allow your gifts to also transform with you, okay? Your gifts are expanding as you expand. As your consciousness expands, so is the way that you present your gifts to the world. How is that going to affect your gifts? Got a card that fell. Okay. Okay, so I have the Two of Swords in the reverse. This is all about seeing things clearly, no longer being at a crossroads, no longer feeling stuck, okay? How's it going to affect your gifts? You're not going to feel stuck. You're not going to feel like you have to decide which path to take, okay? If you allow the transformation to take place, you'll know which path to take, and you won't be at that crossroads, just kind of blindly trying to figure this thing out. So you'll see things clearly, you'll take the blinders off, and you'll take a path. Yeah, so this is you taking that path, being optimistic about your future, and feeling, this is another number 3, being in your creative energy, ready to take ready for your ships to come in. So this is you being optimistic and ready to do something different, okay? No longer worried about the people from your past or others' opinions. You turn your back on that, and you look ahead, you forge ahead, okay? So that's a good card. How might this affect your gifts if you allow the transformation to take place? Okay, so we have here the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is all about that creative energy, stepping into your power, confidently stepping into your creative energy. So you got a lot of wands coming out in terms of how it might positively impact you. And you also had the Seven of Pentacles here. This is planting those seeds like we talked about, the harvest, reaping the harvest of the seeds that you plant. And so you'll see the growth. You'll see the growth that'll happen as you forge ahead and be, and that where you're confident in your creativity. You're confident in your gifts. You're being courageous and bold in the moves that you make. And so this is where you'll be able to see the harvest grow. Because you'll be planting the seeds in good soil, not in low vibrational soil. And so you'll reap a good harvest for that. Look at that. Celebration. You'll move towards being able to celebrate, and that's another number 3. You'll be able to celebrate that creativity and that passion that you put into your gifts, and you'll also attract like-minded people who will be able to celebrate with you. Okay? Let me pull one more. Okay. So this is a lot, but let me see. Okay, it's just... All right. So what we have here is the Ace of Wands. This is all about that creativity. That's another wand right there. So that passion, that spark, that new idea, that exciting new idea that comes in. You'll be able to have a lot of these new ideas that come in because you're stepping into your creative energy. You're forging ahead. You're being optimistic about your future, and you're putting your transformative energy into your gifts. So as you grow and expand, so is your gifts and the way that you present them into the world. And so you'll always have new ideas, okay? And then you have the Page of Wands in the upright this time. Before it was in the reverse. And so you'll be passionate and excited about doing new things and exploring new options, okay? And that color yellow that he's wearing is all about that confidence and stepping into your personal power, that solar plexus. Another one, this is all about, having that yellow on that solar plexus energy, that personal power and that strength. You'll be able to bring that into your gifts, feeling confident about what you're presenting into the world versus feeling guilty about it. Then you have here the moon is coming out. So I feel like this is you listening to that intuitive wisdom, relieving yourself from all fear. But this is also about going within, diving deep into those emotions and exploring those things that you've kept hidden, okay? Exploring those things that you've kept hidden. This is the Five of Cups in the reverse. So this is about coming out of that energy of feeling grieving or taking losses or feeling emotionally down, and focusing in on the negativity or the things that you're not able to gain. You coming out of that energy with this being in the reverse, and you're stepping into your position, your power. Yeah, there's the Wheel of Fortune. I'm going to take this as the last card, the Wheel of Fortune. This is all about transformative energy, the karmic wheel spinning in your favor, major transformations happening in terms of how your gift is presented to the world and how it's received, and the benefits, the harvest that you're able to reap as a result of it. That's what I got for y'all. I love you. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you all next time.